your divine feminine educator, and in this video what I want to talk to you about are migraines. And if you're suffering from migraines more frequently because of all the challenging times we're going through, or if you've had migraines in the past, I have some really good news for you. So I want to share in this video 12 steps for you to free yourself or prevent or relieve yourself from migraines and any other pain for that matter, especially pain up here. Okay, so did you know? Well, first of all, let me tell you, migraines, if you've ever had them, they are like pulsing pain in the head, throbbing pain. You're sensitive to light, sound, everything is intense, and you have to stop, you have to slow down, you have to retreat, interestingly enough, correct? Also, 12%, according to research, 12% of the population suffer from migraines. But what I find even more interesting is that women are 3 times more likely to suffer from migraines than men. Why? Why? Isn't that interesting? Well, one of the things that comes up for me is the fact that, at least the belief, or my opinion, that pleasure is the most beautiful antidote for pain. The other thing is that the female body was designed for pleasure, okay? Your body, your female body, responds much more to pleasure than it does to pain. Maybe men's do, but I'm a female, I'm a female body specialist, okay? Guys, you know, the masculine likes to be challenged, and the feminine likes to be receptive and open. And we both have masculine and feminine energies in us. But let me tell you, if you are suffering from migraines, chances are something is in your body is seriously out of balance. And I would guess it's your relationship with your body and it's your relationship with your mind. You see, we live in a very masculine world, goal-oriented, deadlines, needing to get things done, making things happen, reaching beyond our limits. Now, masculine energy, that's the great American way, you know. And masculine energy is great. There is nothing wrong with masculine energy. The only thing is we need to balance it with feminine energy if we're going to have health and wholeness. So chances are, if you are suffering from migraines more frequently or just in general, then something is seriously out of balance. And what I want you to look at are, I'm going to go over the 12 ways to prevent or relieve migraines. Now, you know how they say, don't try this at home. It may be dangerous. I want you to try this at home because it won't be dangerous. And if it doesn't even work, it's still going to be fun and it's going to open your heart. Okay? So before I go any further, I want to talk about Louise Hay, because Louise Hay, I don't know if you know her, but she was a healer. She's gone now. She passed away maybe a couple of years back now. Excuse me. And she owned a publishing company, but she was a beautiful woman, and she has a book. It's called The Little Blue Book, Heal Your Body. And basically what she became aware of that disease is dis-ease, and that certain diseases were due to certain thought patterns that people had. What she became aware of, for example, if you look in this little blue book, you'll see the disease, a column with disease. It's a fun book to bring to parties, by the way. Look up people's diseases and just read the disease, the probable cause, and then the thought pattern, the new thought pattern that you can have to help support a new way of thinking so that you can free yourself from this dis-ease. So, for example, I had appendicitis. Very stressful time during my life. Appendicitis has to do with fear of the future, whereas constipation has to do with fear of the past, not letting go. Okay? Well, migraines, and I want you to feel safe here, because when I bring up these subjects, some people get really triggered when I use the word sex. But apparently, and I'm going to read directly the words that she has in her book, if you go to that beautiful little blue book and you look up migraines, what you're going to see is dislike of being driven, resisting the flow of life, sexual fears, can usually be relieved by masturbation. Now, if that triggers you, then it's all the more that you should be listening to me, because when we're triggered, then we're hitting a spot inside of us and an opportunity for growth. You see, the female body is, according to research, 3 times more likely to suffer from migraines, but the female body doesn't want to be pushed, doesn't want to be under pressure, doesn't want to have to masculinate her sexuality. You see, we've become the vibrator nation to adapt our own sexuality to a man's sexuality and going for the big O and that goal. You know, the feminine sexuality is subtle. It's not physical. There are physical aspects to our sexuality, but there's also subtle aspects to our sexuality. And when we honor that, then we open up to our greater pleasure potential as a woman. That is another subject. Let's get back to this, though. The fact that migraines have a lot to do with dislike of being driven, deadlines, and pressure, and having to make something happen instead of just allowing yourself to be. So if you suffer from migraines, chances are that something is seriously out of balance with your body in that masculine, feminine energy balance, okay? So if you don't want to have another attack, then start thinking about your thoughts, what you are telling yourself. Because that's where the pain is up in your head. You need to learn how to get out of your head and be in your body, because that's where the pleasure is. And pleasure is the antidote to pain. So I'm going to tell a quick story. I teach this stuff. I teach self-love. I teach pleasure. And I woke up this morning, and the first thing I said to myself, thank God I caught myself, but the mind plays tricks on you. If you start paying attention to your thoughts and what you're telling yourself, it's a really good habit to get into, because the mind will keep you down, will keep you in a limited state of being, will keep you in criticism and pain. So I woke up this morning. I had visited a friend last night, and I had a beer instead of having dinner. It was just easier for me to have a beer instead of have dinner. But I want to be healthy, and I want to eat my vegetables, and I want to have a good diet. But I woke up this morning ready to beat myself up because I had a beer instead of vegetables. So what did I say to myself? You're so stupid for having a beer. Something to that effect. I caught myself. You know, I can't believe that. You know what that is? That is verbal abuse. Start paying attention to what you are telling yourself. So I had to forgive myself in that moment and say, oh, honey, you know, it's okay that you had a beer instead of having an actual meal. I love you. So it starts right there, that awareness. These aren't the steps that I'm going to be going through, but I want you to become aware of what you are saying to yourself. And if you're verbally abusive, you're already creating contractive energy. You're not being your best friend. That's part of it. The other part is become aware of your anti-pleasure patterns. Have you ever gone to bed at night, crawled into bed, and said to your partner, "Not tonight, dear, I have a headache"? That's an anti-pleasure pattern. Well, maybe you're saying that because you're protecting yourself. You know that what is going to happen next if you don't say that isn't going to be pleasurable for you. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if a woman's body is designed for pleasure, and if she knows she's going into a situation where there's going to be pleasure, she will not say she has a headache. She will be open and receptive to receive that pleasure. But you need to look to see if you created in your life anti-pleasure patterns. Because yes, we live in a more masculine world. We live in an anti-ecstatic world. And what is important for you to do, especially if you're suffering from migraines more frequently, is to look at these anti-ecstatic patterns that you have, these anti-pleasure patterns that you have in your life, and change them. Okay, so what I have to share with you, these 12 steps. I want to first say, because people want to say, well, where's the facts? Where's the research, right? That's all head stuff. I don't have any scientific data. I have not done any research on this. I can't offer you specific facts and figures that pleasure is the antidote for pain. I just am a woman, and I know that pleasure heals. I have experienced that first and foremost for myself, and I have seen it with my clients and students. So let me say that before I start. No facts and figures, no research, just experience that pleasure has healed me, and that I've seen pleasure heal others, and I've seen pain hurt people, and I've seen pain hurt others. So if you want to free yourself from pain, migraine pain or other, then it's time to look at your anti-ecstatic patterns and see if you can develop more pleasure patterns. So let me give you the 12 steps. Number 1, look at your lifestyle. Where are you resisting? Where is there resistance? I caught myself with telling myself I'm stupid this morning for having a beer last night. Become aware of that. Number 2, understand that resistance causes tension. Anytime you're in a place of resistance, you're in a contractive state. Contraction is what causes migraines. Expansion is what frees you from migraines. Number 3, start becoming more aware during the day the feeling of resistance in your body and in your thoughts and in your mind. Number 4, face the resistance with flow, with love, with compassion, with understanding. And faith is just in a divine feminine way. In other words, don't attack yourself for attacking yourself. Forgive yourself for attacking yourself, or forgive yourself for attacking others. Number 5, good thoughts to face the resistance with flow is to ask yourself. So let me give you some ideas. If you're finding yourself in resistance or in stress, then stop, become aware of it, and say, in a million years, will it really matter? Get that sentence in a million years, is it really going to matter? One of the things I like to say to myself, I'm an eternal being, so if I don't get it now, I'll get it sometime in the future, right? Be easy on yourself. Or another thing to say, good words to say, I trust in the process. So if you start feeling yourself getting freaked out about life, put your hand on your heart and say, I trust in the process. I trust in the process. And if you're the type of person that wants a little bit of adventure, even though you're stressed out, but you're that kind of freedom-seeking type person and want adventure, then you say, I trust in the process and I stay in the mystery. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. That way you allow that expansiveness and understand that you're not in control, that it's all a mystery and the mystery is unfolding, okay? Or you can even say, I'm safe. I'm safe. Okay. Number 6, commit to start living a life of pleasure. Now that's a whole other subject. Do you know how to create a more pleasurable life for yourself? And I'm not talking about having more sex. I'm talking about having more pleasure. I'm talking about creating a more sensual life. Yeah, you could have more sex, sure, if that brings you pleasure. But for some, it doesn't bring pleasure. It only brings duty. So make feeling pleasure in your body important. Okay. Number 8, get the skills and know how to get out of your mind and be in your body. One of my students, it took her a year to figure out, wow, and she was in her 60s, wow, I've been in my head all my life. So chances are, if you suffer from migraines, you're in your head and don't even really know it. But there's a whole beautiful world called pleasure out there and being in your body that you can open up to, and I can support you in that journey. So get the skills and know how to get out of your mind and be in your body. Number 9, commit to no longer having sex out of a sense of duty. Enough said. Number 10, start honoring your body and your sexuality as sacred. There's too much body image issues going on. If you're suffering from that, then you're in your head and you're not in your body. Number 11, take time to explore your sexuality and define your sexual needs. You see, this migraine thing has a lot to do with sexual pressure. Yes, it does. So take time to explore your sexuality and define your sexual needs. And number 12, make sure that your sexual needs and getting them are a regular part of your life. If you are going to have sex, then I suggest that you know what your sexual needs are and that you make them equally as important as your partner's, because it's a beautiful journey of partnership and connecting and creating more pleasure. You know, it's my dream that we become each other's healers instead of each other's wounders in the bedroom or in the relationship realm. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you know somebody that is suffering from migraines, or if you're suffering from migraines, or if you enjoyed this video, please share it. The complete article that was featured in Your Tango is in this link. And also, if you're ready to step into creating a more pleasurable life for yourself, but you really don't know how to do it, there's a course here also. And check out that course, Unlock Your Feminine Power with Love. Okay, have a beautiful day. Namaste.